Hi guys. Hopefully the test yesterday went well for you guys. Today we are going to start our very last unit for statistics. For most of you, your last unit in statistics for your senior year, so that's kind of exciting. And it's only 3 lessons, so not too shabby at all. We are going to start our introduction to linear regression, which is something all of you have done before thanks to Algebra 2. We'll build on that tomorrow with the least square regression line, which we're actually going to foreshadow today. And then we'll talk about something brand new, which are residuals. You don't really talk about those a lot in Algebra 2 at all. On Tuesday, May 7th, you're going to have your last quiz ever in statistics. So this will be your last quiz. This would be a good day to start working on the My Math Lab if you finish the quiz early, only because our last lesson is that Monday, May 6th. Most of you are seniors, so you won't be taking the U.S. History EOC. So in class that day is pretty much just like review day 1. You'll get a copy of the review, and then you can work on the My Math Lab if that's something you want to do. And then on Thursday, May 9th, that is your actual review day when you can still work on the My Math Lab or the review. But the My Math Lab is due by 11:59 p.m. that night, so you need to make sure you have it done. Then you'll have your last test ever on Friday, May 10th. So that's going to be your last test, which will determine if you're exempt or not. But the first 3 days of final exam review, there will be some activities that you're going to have to participate in to ensure that we get enough data. So you won't know you're exempt until Wednesday, May 15th. So make sure that you are participating. Otherwise, Mrs. Wilkes may not let you be exempt. And I support that because she needs that data to go through those activities with everybody else. You will have the final exam review passed out on Monday, May 13th. So the exam review days in class, you'll just be working on it. Ms. Wilkes may or may not show you some videos because I'm going to go through the entire semester exam review with you in videos to help you with any questions you may have. And then depending what class period you're in, you'll have your exam the following week. So that's going to be that last week. There will be tutorials on Tuesday, May 7th and Tuesday, May 14th. Remember that there are no more after-school tutorials since I'm not here. So you guys need to either go before school during both lunches or during 7th. I think you can manage to make one of those times work. And then final exam tutorials will be released to you so you can kind of see where you go. For my 6th and 7th period, you may only have Monday and Tuesday as options, but remember, I'm doing a video of the entire semester exam review. So really, if you have any questions, you should be able to just reference those videos. So today we are starting our bivariate data and linear regression unit. We are going to talk about some things with linear regression that should be very, very familiar to you. There's some things I'm going to do on the Elmo with you, as you can see now, and there's some things that we'll go through the PowerPoint on. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the Elmo. So linear regression is based off bivariate data. Notice how now we have age and weight, where age we could kind of talk about as X, and weight we could talk about kind of as Y. So now we have 2 variables we're going to compare, hence why it's called bivariate data. Most of the semester, or majority of this semester and all of last semester, we really focused on univariate data. This is really the only time we look into bivariate data. So suppose we found the age and weight of a sample of 10 adults. We're going to create scatter plots of this data and see if there's any relationship between the age and weight of these adults. So think about this logically. Do you think as you get older that your weight's going to go up or down? Like, is there any direct relationship that you know of right now? Okay. What we're going to be able to do is prove whether or not there is a relationship. And we'll talk about how throughout this lesson. So the first thing they're going to ask us to do, and they ask you to do this a lot in your homework, is to create a scatter plot. So to create a scatter plot, we first need to type in our data. So remember to type in data. You guys should all be pros at this because literally in the last unit, you had to type in data. So you're going to go to stat and then edit. So that's what I'll do now. So I'll go to stat, edit, and then type in your data. So I'm going to type in the ages into L1. Oops. Let's go back to stat, edit, and fix that last one. 4, 30, 41. 41, 28, 50, 46, 49, 35, 20, and 39. And then I'm going to type in the weight into L2. If you don't have a calculator for this example, the next example you guys are going to be doing in your group. So make sure when I'm done with this example that you grab a calculator so you can actually practice this. Because remember, calculator questions are not answered on any form of assessment. Quizzes, tests, final exams, anything. After you do stat edit, then you're going to turn your stat plot on. This is the same place that you turn the box plot on. So this menu should be very familiar to you as well. So you're going to go to second y equals and go to number 1 for plot 1. So second y equals, hit enter on 1 and enter on the word on. And that's, believe it or not, all you have to do because it already defaults to a scatter plot in the list that you type data in. So I'm going to do there is just say on. Then to see a nice little picture, because that's what we're trying to do is create a scatter plot, we're going to hit zoom number 9 for zoom stat. So if I hit zoom, which is top row, so zoom number 9, zoom stat, that'll take me to a nice little pretty picture of my scatter plot. So I'll go ahead and do this in a different color so you guys can see this. When you make this scatter plot, we don't mind that it's not very detailed. You do not have to do tick marks. You don't have to scale it. None of that. We just want to see the picture that you're seeing, so that way we can ensure that you saw the right scatter plot. So I'm going to do a dot here, 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 here. So something like that. And believe it or not, that scatter plot would give you full credit if I say sketch the scatter plot. So now, looking at this scatter plot, do you think there's a relationship? What is something we might look for to see if there's a relationship on a scatter plot? So since this doesn't really follow any sort of pattern, even more in particular, we're going to be looking for linear patterns. We would say that there's no relationship at all because there's no pattern. It's just a random scatter of points. So now in your groups, I want you guys to try to make the next scatter plot. You're going to see if there's a relationship between the height and the weight of these adults. You're going to see if it's positive or negative, weak or strong. So go ahead and practice typing in that data. Remember that you can easily clear the list to type in a new set of data by hitting clear and then enter, not delete. So clear, then enter. So go ahead and work on that. I'm going to pull up the PowerPoint because that's where we're going to go to next is work through some things in the PowerPoint. Hey guys. Okay, so now that I have the PowerPoint shown up, I'm going to go ahead and show you that slide, and then we'll go on to the next video because they are about to cut me off. So the scatter plot that you guys were supposed to create is the second example on page 1. So typing in that height and weight, think about logically if there was a relationship between height and weight. So as your height goes up, does your weight go up? Does it always go down? What happens? So if you saw the scatter plot that you guys are supposed to create in your calculators, you can see that there is some sort of a relationship, right? There is kind of a trend that's happening that as weight went up, something happened to as height went up, there is something that was happening to weight. So we are going to talk about whether it's positive or negative. Since it's going up over time, we'd probably say that it's positive. And notice how close these points would be to a line if I drew it in. So we might call it a strong relationship. So we'll talk about that in the next video.